Hey guys, today we're doing this. So clearly I'm late on the bandwagon talking about this show, but I'm just gonna do it. Okay, so I really like this show, so I want to talk about it. I know that it came out a while, I know that the last season, the revival came out a while ago, 3 years ago, but I didn't have a YouTube channel 3 years ago, so we're gonna talk about it today. So a lot of stuff that I'm gonna say might already be in your knowledge. Yeah, a lot of the stuff I'm going to say you probably already know about if you did some research or if you were like me and you caught on right away. But there's still some people out there that are confused and annoyed by it, and I'm like, it's so obvious though. So let's get into it. So first of all, people think that Rory in the revival is really different from Rory in the show because she's treating Paul in a bad way. She's sleeping with Logan when he's engaged to another woman. She's kind of lost in what she's doing with her life. But, I mean, she dropped out of Yale in the regular season, and even in the beginning, in the first few episodes, she could be rude to her mom.
Hey, I had dibs on being the bitch tonight.
Just tonight?
She wasn't a perfect person. I know when you think back on it, you're like, Rory, she was that perfect, studious girl.
Who said this?
Martin Luther.
Very good, Miss Gilmore.
She had no problems, but that's not true. There's a lot of things that she did and said that were, not straightforward and not great. So it, to me, makes sense how she's acting in the revival, especially because who even knows how to live their life anyway? Everybody goes through a stage where you're like, what do I even do with my life? So anyway, no, Rory's not unbelievably out of character, in my opinion. So anyway, on to the most important parts. So the creators of the show have said multiple times that they wanted their storyline to be full circle. They wanted it to wrap up in a circular fashion.
To the circle of life.
Which is why everything totally makes sense, and nothing is actually a loose end. There's a lot of people that say that we don't know who the father is, or we don't know who Rory's going to end up with, we don't know what's going to happen to the inn. But you don't need to show those things to be able to have the audience be satisfied. There's so many subtle hints that prove to us that this is what happens in the future. Yeah, we don't see it in the moment, but we can just infer that these things are happening. And honestly, I was really happy with how it all wrapped up. Rory is clearly meant to be a reflection of Lorelai. She's lost, she has no future prospects currently, and she's on her own, back in Stars Hollow. Just like Lorelai, when she was pregnant, she wasn't able to go to college, wasn't able to see a future for herself, and she was all alone, and she found herself in Stars Hollow. Both of them, being in Stars Hollow, find a job or something that can get their foot in the door. Lorelai became a maid at the inn, and now Rory is running the newspaper. I mean, for no money, but it's still something. Both of them also came to Stars Hollow while pregnant without the father of their child. There are also several similarities shown between Lorelai and Rory in the first few episodes.
That should have been my first thought. After all, you're me.
I'm not you.
Really? Someone willing to throw important life experiences out the window to be with a guy? It sounds like me to me.
When I was in high school, I had a Paris.
Yeah?
Yeah, she was horrible.
I can't stand it. This is so unhealthy. Rory, please, put down that cup of coffee. You do not want to grow up to be like your mom.
Sorry. Too late.
And as well as in the revival. And like I said, in the revival, Rory figuring out her life just like her mom did, and having her grandmother, who is Lorelai's mom, be worried about it.
Where are you going to live?
I'll get my own place again, eventually.
Yeah, but for now, she's Jack Kerouac. She's on the roading it, past the peyote.
But after you pass the peyote, what bathroom will you use to throw up in?
There's also the idea that Rory visits her father.
You okay, kiddo?
I can't come visit my father?
Which is similar to when Lorelai goes to her parents for money in the first episode.
Lorelai! My goodness, this is a surprise. Is it Easter already?
Hi, Dad.
What is it? Christmas already?
Alright, moving on to Logan. So Logan is clearly a reflection of Christopher. So both Christopher and Logan come from wealthy families. Their parents want them to do well in college, to do well in life, join the family business. They don't want them to be tied down by, a baby, for example. They're also really extravagant when it comes to the way they treat Lorelai and Rory, respectively. Logan buying Rory a house to write her book in, and Chris buying Lorelai a restaurant just to hang out with her in Paris for a night. Both Christopher and Logan asked Lorelai and Rory to marry them.
What do you say? Marry me. Will you marry me?
Both are refused because they're clearly not right for each other.
But don't you think it's too soon?
No.
I'm sorry. I can't.
Bye, Rory.
Obviously, Rory and Lorelai keep getting sucked back in to Christopher and Logan, but we know as an audience that they're not meant for each other and they shouldn't be together. Both Rory and Lorelai would rather make a name for themselves and focus on their careers than getting married young. And Lorelai and Chris will always have Paris.
We'll always have Paris.
And from that, you could allude that Rory and Logan will just always have London, but nothing more. The fact that Rory also goes to visit her father, you think it's like just a casual visit, but she's asking him all these questions about whether it was right for him not to raise her or for him not to help Lorelai raising her. And it's obviously because she's worried about whether it's okay for her to raise her child without Logan in the picture, without telling Logan, without having Logan be there. And it's because Logan shouldn't be there. Just like Christopher says,
I think it was exactly what was supposed to happen, and I think she'd back me up on that.
it was how it was meant to be. So Rory is just not meant to be with Logan. She's meant to raise her child on her own, just like her mom did, and then eventually end up with Jess. So then obviously Jess is a reflection of Luke. Luke and Lorelai, Jess and Rory both had a rocky start to their relationship. It also took them a while to get together.
That part over there.
That's mine. Yeah. You want a soda?
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Although Jess was a delinquent at first, in the revival he becomes her rock. He encourages her to write the book. He is everything good in a boyfriend.
You should write a book.
Oh.
You should write about you and your mom.
What?
It's a cool story. It's got a point of view, and it's something only you can write.
Luke is that way for Lorelai. He encourages her to pursue her dreams of the inn. He's always giving her good advice.
Suki and I are finally going to open that inn.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, you know, I'm no financial genius, but, you know, we can sit down sometime and you can pick my brain on a few things I do know about.
Really?
Sure, I've been around some.
And Jess is now the same way. And honestly, to me, that's a sign that they should be together.
Jess, look, the first 3 chapters.
Both Jess and Luke are encouraging the girls to be a better version of themselves. There's also the fact that Christopher makes Luke jealous because he's with Lorelai, and then Logan makes Jess jealous because he's with Rory. But ultimately, Luke was meant to be with Lorelai. It's even said.
It was supposed to be Luke. It was always supposed to be Luke.
So then, if Jess is a reflection of Luke, you could infer that Rory is meant to end up with Jess. It may take a while, and even though clearly Rory is having Logan's baby, she's gonna end up with Jess. Clearly they're endgame, and that's canon. It's just canon. And then there's also a little tidbit of Lorelai reflecting her own mother. It's very subtle, but it does happen. When Lorelai and Rory are at the gravesite, Lorelai gets worried about Rory writing that book about them, and she becomes passive-aggressive just like she is with her mom.
Okay, you know what? Do whatever you want, Rory. You're a big girl. I can't stop you.
No, that's not how you and I work. We don't do the passive-aggressive thing. That's how you and your mother work.
And she's also worried about Jess when Jess is brought up.
Where is this coming from? What inspired you?
I was frustrated. I was talking to Jess.
Jess. How the hell did he get into this?
Just like her mom is constantly saying that her and Luke are not even really together, even though they've been living together for years.
She has a roommate.
Hear the quotes? He's not my roommate.
You share a bedroom,
Yes.
which makes you roommates with benefits, booty buddies.
Anyways, guys, to me that was like pretty obvious with all the subtle hints, and even though the creators did not give us in detail this is what happens and wrap it up all nicely, it is still wrapped up nicely. You just have to read between the lines and see all the facts that are staring you in the face. Clearly she's gonna end up with Jess. She's gonna raise her baby on her own. She might stay in Stars Hollow for a bit. I am really happy with that ending. Let me know what you think down below, if I was completely off base, if I'm completely wrong, what your thoughts are on the ending, if you wished something was better. If you're Team Logan, you can write it down, but I'm definitely Team Jess, obviously. And Dean, I mean, he's just in the background, whatever. Follow me at my social medias. I have this new Instagram that is pretty cool, has no pictures of me at all. And if you have any other shows that you want me to watch and talk about, let me know, because I need them. Also subscribe, because, like, that'd be cool.
We're working on building Stars Hollow. We're working on building Stars Hollow.